Be talking about one of the assignments for this week, and I'm going to kind of walk you through this assignment and how to think about it a little bit. This is a preparation for the final exam. So this is not our final exam. Think about it like a practice, right? So I'm showing you how to think about the final essay when you get to that point, and we're just taking this week to practice for that. So it says for your final essay in English 075, you'll be given 2 topics. You should pick one of these topics and develop it into an organized, well-developed essay that has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, right? Then I give you the steps that you should follow when you're thinking about a writing topic. So first, I suggest that you pre-write. And for this, you just brainstorm ideas. You can brainstorm ideas about both of the 2 topics, right? Without choosing one, you just brainstorm ideas for both topics. And then step number 2 is to select the topic that you feel will work best for you. So if I'm brainstorming about 2 different topics, usually one of them I feel like I have more information about, or more to talk about, maybe stronger examples, that kind of thing. So step number 2 is to select one of those topics. And then step number 3 is to plan. In this assignment today, we're going to look at many different ways that you could plan or you could look at the topic. And at the end of this assignment, you're going to actually submit your plan to me, and I'm going to give you some feedback on it. So the plan stage says, review the pre-writing of the topic you've chosen to determine how you will develop and organize your ideas. In other words, you need to develop a thesis statement that will be the main idea of the essay, and you need to determine the focus of each body paragraph. For this assignment, we're just going to have 2 body paragraphs, but it's very important to decide what the thesis statement will say. Is it going to be a cause and effect? Is it going to be an opinion? Is it going to be a comparison, right? So that will determine what the body paragraphs will talk about. And we'll look at some examples in a little bit. Today we're just going to do steps 1 through 3, but after you finish with step 3, then you're going to write the essay and then edit and proofread, looking for mistakes, okay? I'll leave you to read those other, this a little bit more carefully on your own, but I'm going to go into what we're doing in this assignment. So it says, in this assignment, I will ask you to do steps number 1 through 3 above, right? So from pre-write until plan. At the bottom of the assignment, you will submit your plan, and I will give you feedback on that plan before you start writing your draft number 1. To help you with your plan, please read the examples of different plans below. There are many different ways you can write about a topic, right? In our class, we focus mainly on cause and effect and comparison, but you may also want to write, for example, an opinion paragraph or an opinion essay, rather. So for these examples, I chose the topic of high school sports. Let's say that the topic that you chose was high school sports. There are many different things we can say about high school sports. So your next step is to decide on a topic and a controlling idea. Here are the thesis statements and brief plans that 5 different students came up with. Notice that all of them will have the same topic. The topic will be in blue, and it should be something like high school sports. And a controlling idea is going to be different. So what do they want to say about high school sports will be different. Let's look at number 1. My experience with high school sports taught me skills that are still useful to me today. Notice that the controlling idea, taught me skills that are still useful to me today, show up in body number 1 and number 2. One skill that I learned was teamwork. And the second skill I learned was how to make and keep friends. So both of them talk about how high school sports teaches me skills. We would call this one an opinion, right? This is my opinion that high school sports do this. Number 2, there are 2 main differences between high school sports in the US and my country. I think you can guess that this is a compare-contrast, right? Here, because we're talking about 2 main differences, This is a contrast paragraph. And we have the subjects in the US and in my country. So you can probably guess that body number 1 will talk about scholarship opportunities in both places. And number 2 will talk about competitiveness and time commitments for high school sports in each country. All right, number 3, there are both advantages and disadvantages to being a high school athlete. This is also a comparison or contrast essay. So remember, we can talk about advantages and disadvantages in one thing. That means that one subject will be advantages and the other subject will be disadvantages. Okay, and we can see the body paragraphs there. Number 4 is there are 2 reasons why I want my daughter to play sports when she goes to high school. This is very much a personal essay, so we can call this an opinion essay, right? 2 reasons means that each body paragraph will focus on one reason. One reason is girls who play sports are healthier and have a better body image. The second reason is my daughter is shy, so being on a team might make it easier for her to make friends. So again, this is focusing on the 2 reasons why I want my daughter to play sports when she goes to high school. Okay, the last one is when I was in high school, I learned that while I like individual recreational sports, competitive team sports are not for me. Again, this is kind of an opinion and also kind of a contrast because we're talking about my own experience, but we're comparing or contrasting individual sports versus competitive team sports. And again, you can see how each body paragraph focuses on one of those things. Okay. So again, these are just examples. You will not write about high school sports. These are just examples to show you that we can write an essay about a topic in many, many different ways simply by changing the controlling idea. Thinking about, are we giving reasons? Are we comparing? Are we contrasting? What is the purpose of the essay? Okay, you can read these examples more carefully on your own, but the last thing I want to show you is your assignment. So again, this is just a practice. We're going to now choose one of the following topics to write your practice essay on this week. Choose the topic and go through steps 1 through 3 at the top of the page. Then submit your plan to me below. We're going to submit it down here. Okay, here are the 2 topics. Okay, pets and working while in school. For your thesis, you need to decide what kind of essay do you want to write. Do you want to write a compare contrast? Do you want to write an opinion or give reasons for something? Okay, so again, thinking about the topics, you're going to write your own thesis or your own main idea here with a controlling idea. After you write your thesis, that will tell you what body number 1 will be about and body number 2. So you can write just a few words or maybe even a sentence for body 1 and body 2. You can write this by hand and submit a picture, or you can write this in Word and submit a picture. You're not doing a whole outline, you're just doing these 3 things in your plan. When you're ready, you can go down here to add a file. Find your file. I usually put mine on the desktop, right? But wherever you keep yours. Okay, so let's say it's this one, for example. Then click Open and click Add. Okay, once it's finished loading, then you click Add. Okay. When you're ready, you click on Submit. Okay, the blue button, don't forget that. Okay. One more thing to mention is that remember that we're only doing steps number 1 through 3. So you're only doing the plan. You're not writing the first draft. You need to get feedback from me on this plan before you write your first draft. Now you might ask, what are steps number 1 through 3? Remember, they're at the top of the page. So let's go back up there just to show you. They're these 3 steps: pre-write, select your topic, and plan. Okay. So students, you may have questions as you're doing this. Please make sure to either email me or come to my office hours this week so that I can help answer those questions. This is going to be a really great practice for you. And once once it's time to take the final exam, you're going to feel really confident in your ability to do this.